Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to tackle something that I know a lot of you have been curious about and sent in your research on.
Electrical design software.
You got it. We've got three popular options on the table today. EPLAN Electric
See, electrical expert.
and Zuken E3.
We're going to break them all down.
Compare their strengths and weaknesses.
And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea of which one might be the perfect fit for you.
Exactly. And, nobody wants to end up with a Frankenstein design just because they picked the wrong software to begin with.
Right. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
So let's start with first impressions, interface, and usability.
Okay.
Imagine you're sitting down to start a new project.
Yeah.
How does each of these programs feel to use?
Well, based on your research, ePlan Electric seems to be designed for users who want speed and customization.
Okay.
It's got customizable layouts and shortcuts, so experienced users can really fly through projects.
So maybe not a learner's permit kind of software?
Probably not the best place to start. Okay.
Now, see, Electrical Expert, on the other hand, is more like that reliable family sedan.
Gotcha.
Easy to drive,
Yeah.
intuitive to use.
Makes sense.
Your research suggests it's got a gentle learning curve.
Yeah.
Perfect for beginners who might be a bit intimidated by a more complex interface.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
So where does Zuken E3 land on this usability scale?
Well, from what you've gathered, Zuken E3 prioritizes clarity, which is always a good thing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
some users have commented that the interface feels a bit dated.
Uh-huh.
Like stepping back in time a little bit
Interesting.
could be charming for some, but others might miss those modern bells and whistles.
So right off the bat, we're seeing some distinct personalities emerge.
Yeah.
If you're a seasoned pro who thrives on that customization, ePlan might be your speed.
Right.
But for someone just starting out, that gentle learning curve of C electrical expert could be a real draw.
Absolutely.
Now, usability is important,
Of course.
but let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
What can each of these programs actually do? Let's talk design capabilities.
Oh, yeah?
When it comes to pure design power,
Yeah.
ePlan Electric stands out for its ability to handle really detailed low-voltage designs.
Absolutely.
Think data centers, complex infrastructure, the big leagues.
Yeah, the big leagues of electrical design.
I did see in the research that ePlan also integrates with other modules, right?
Yes.
So it's not just a one-trick pony for low-voltage stuff.
You got it. It's more like having a whole Swiss Army knife of electrical engineering tools.
Oh, wow.
Needs to design a PLC program. There's a module for that.
Wow.
Wire harnesses. And it covered.
Okay.
Fluid power systems. Yep, ePlan's got your back.
So it sounds like if you're working on those large-scale projects, ePlan can really grow with your needs.
It can.
But what if you're not quite at that level yet? Can the electrical expert hold its own in terms of design capabilities?
Absolutely. While it might not have the sheer horsepower of ePlan,
Yeah.
see, electrical expert is no slouch when it comes to design. It's great for solo work or smaller teams tackling less complex projects.
Makes sense.
Residential wiring, smaller commercial buildings, that sort of thing.
So it's the reliable workhorse for those everyday design challenges.
It does say that.
And what about Zuken E3? Any design specialties there?
Zuken E3 seems to have carved out a niche for itself in certain areas,
Okay.
particularly wire harness design and panel layouts.
Got it.
If those are your bread and butter, Zuken E3 could be a great fit.
So we've got the powerhouse,
Right.
the workhorse,
Yeah.
and the specialists.
Uh-huh.
It's starting to feel like we're building a design dream team here.
I like that.
But before we get carried away, let's talk about something crucial.
Okay.
Standards and compliance.
Yes.
We're talking about making sure your designs meet all the necessary regulations.
Right.
Safety guidelines, no cutting corners here.
Absolutely. And this is where ePlan Electric really flexes its muscles.
Okay.
It's got built-in options for a whole slew of international standards,
Uh-huh.
from IEC to NFPA.
Mm.
Think of it as a built-in safety net,
Got it.
making sure your designs are up to code no matter where in the world you're working.
That peace of mind is probably worth its weight in gold for some people.
Oh, absolutely.
What about C electrical expert? Does it play by the rules as well?
See, Electrical Expert does include some international standards,
Okay.
but it leans more heavily toward the European ones.
So if you're working on global projects, that could be something to consider.
It could.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And Zuken E3, how does it handle this whole standards and compliance thing?
From your research, it looks like Zuken E3 isn't really built for broad compliance.
Okay.
It's more tailored to specific industry needs.
So more of a specialist in that
Yeah,
sense.
you could say that.
All right, so EPLAN is the clear front runner when it comes to making sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
It is.
See, electrical expert might need a little extra attention in that department.
Especially if you're working internationally.
Exactly. Now let's move on to something that might sound a bit dry, but is actually super important.
Okay.
Database management and component libraries.
Ah, yes, the heart of your design toolbox.
Think of this as the heart of your design toolbox.
Exactly.
It's all about having the right components at your fingertips.
Yes.
Making sure your data is organized and consistent across projects.
And when it comes to component libraries, EPLAN Electric boasts an industry-leading collection.
Okay.
It's constantly being updated with data from actual manufacturers.
So you mentioned ePlan's library is massive.
Yeah.
Just how many components are we talking about here?
We're talking hundreds of thousands of components from a huge range of manufacturers.
Wow.
It's like having a digital warehouse stocked with every electrical component imaginable.
And it's constantly being updated so you're not stuck with outdated information.
Exactly.
What about C Electrical Expert?
See, Electrical Expert has a decent library, but it's not as extensive as ePlans.
Okay.
You might find yourself having to update components manually or hunt for specific information.
So a bit more legwork involved there.
A little bit.
What about Zuken E3?
Zuken E3 has its strengths, particularly for mechanical and simpler electrical components.
Yep.
But if you need the sheer variety that ePlan offers, you'll likely need to put in some extra effort.
Okay, so ePlan is the clear winner when it comes to having a well-stocked and organized toolbox.
It seems that way.
See, Electrical Expert is a worthy contender,
It is.
but might require a bit more elbow grease to keep things tidy.
Right.
And Zuken E3, as we've seen, plays to its strengths.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something that can save you a ton of time and headaches.
I'm all ears.
Automation and scripting.
Ah.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
You're designing a complex system,
Yeah.
and you have to copy and paste the same component over and over again.
Ugh, I can see where this is going.
Tedious.
Really tedious. Well, with scripting,
Yeah.
you can basically teach ePlan to do that for you.
It's like having a digital assistant. That's amazing. So for someone like me who's not a coding whiz, am I in out of luck when it comes to automation in ePlan?
Not at all, even if you're not a scripting guru.
Okay.
ePlan still offers a lot of built-in automation features that can significantly streamline your workflow.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
And if you are comfortable with scripting languages like VBScript or .NET,
Oh boy.
you can really unlock the full potential of ePlan and customize it to your heart's content.
I'm starting to understand why people rave about ePlan's flexibility.
It is very flexible.
But let's be realistic.
Okay,
Not everyone needs or wants that level of control.
true.
What about C Electrical Expert? Any automation love there?
See, Electrical Expert does have some basic scripting functionality,
Okay.
but it's not as powerful or versatile as ePlans.
Makes sense.
It's more geared toward automating simple tasks rather than creating complex, customized workflows.
Got it. So basic automation is on the table, but don't expect to be writing symphonies of efficiency.
Exactly.
And what about Zuken E3? Any automation magic to speak of?
From what you've shared, it seems like Zuken E3 isn't really designed for complex automation.
Okay.
It focuses more on a hands-on manual design approach.
All right, so for those who prefer to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty with the design process, Zuken E3 might be the way to go.
It could be.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay.
cost and scalability.
Yes, because at the end of the day, choosing the right software isn't just about features.
Right.
It's about making a smart investment.
It's about finding a solution that fits your budget today,
Yes,
but also has the potential to grow with you as your needs evolve.
exactly.
So let's break it down. Where do these three contenders stand on the price spectrum?
Well, ePlan Electric is definitely a premium choice.
Okay.
You're getting a lot for your money, a powerhouse of features, a massive component library, advanced automation, and the ability to scale as your projects become more complex.
So it's like investing in that top-of-the-line industrial-grade power tool.
Yeah,
It costs more upfront, but it'll last you for years and handle anything you throw at it.
a good analogy.
But what if you're just starting out and don't have a huge budget?
That's where C Electrical Expert comes in.
Okay.
It's a much more budget-friendly option.
Makes sense.
Perfect for smaller projects or businesses just dipping their toes into the world of electrical design software.
Gotcha.
You get all the essential features you need without breaking the bank.
So it's the reliable, affordable, everyday tool that gets the job done.
You could say that.
And what about Zuken E3? Where does it land on the cost scale?
Zuken E3 is the most affordable of the three,
Okay.
which makes it attractive for those on a tight budget.
But affordability doesn't always equal value. What about scalability? Can Zuken E3 keep up as your projects grow and your needs change?
That's where things get a bit tricky.
Okay.
While Zuken E3 is great for specific applications,
Right.
it might not have the same growth potential as EPLAN or even C Electrical X.
So if you're envisioning big things for your design work, Zuken E3 might not be the best long-term solution.
It might not.
And you mentioned earlier that EPLAN Electric is built to scale. Can you tell me more about that? I'm curious how a software program can actually grow with a business.
EPLAN has this really clever modular structure.
Oh.
You can start with a basic package and then add on specific modules as your needs evolve.
So you're never paying for features you won't use.
Exactly. And as your business grows, you can simply add more modules to EPLAN, like PLC programming, wire harness design, or fluid power design.
So it's like building with Legos.
Yes, a very flexible system that can adapt to just about any workflow.
I'm starting to see why EPLAN is considered the gold standard in electrical design software.
It's a very powerful platform.
Powerful, versatile, and built to grow. But let's not forget about C Electrical Expert.
Of course.
It seems like a great option for those who need a reliable, affordable solution for smaller scale projects. Right, I think we've covered the core features of each of these programs.
Yeah.
Now I want to shift gears and talk about something that's becoming increasingly important in today's world.
Okay.
Cloud-based solutions.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen any indication of how ePlan C, Electrical Expert, and Zuken E3 are adapting to this cloud-based environment?
That's a great question, and it's definitely something to consider when choosing design software.
Right.
The world is moving towards the cloud, and these companies are having to adapt.
Yeah.
EPLAN in particular has been leading the charge with its EPLAN A Pulse platform.
I've heard that name buzzing around the design world.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
What exactly is ePlan A Pulse and what does it bring to the table?
Imagine taking all the power of EPLAN Electric and making it accessible from anywhere with an internet connection.
Okay.
That's essentially what EPLAN Pulse does.
So it's not just about accessing your designs from anywhere.
Yeah.
What else does this cloud-based ecosystem offer?
It's about enhanced collaboration,
Okay.
streamlined data management, and
Right.
access to a wealth of online resources.
So what does that look like in practice?
Think real-time collaboration on projects,
Okay.
secure data storage,
Gotcha.
automatic software updates,
Okay.
and a direct line to ePlan's support team.
It sounds like they've thought of everything.
They've really covered all the bases.
Now, are C Electrical Expert and Zuken E3 keeping pace with this whole cloud-based evolution?
They are starting to offer some cloud-based services,
Okay.
but they haven't fully embraced the cloud in the same way that ePlan has.
So they're dipping their toes in the water, but ePlan is already swimming laps.
Pretty much.
All right, let's take a breath here and recap what we've learned so far.
Sounds good.
We've seen how each of these software options approaches interface and usability design capabilities,
Right.
standards and compliance database management,
Mm-hmm.
automation cost scalability,
Yes.
and even their approach to cloud-based solutions.
We've covered a lot of ground.
It's been quite a journey. We've explored the strengths and weaknesses of each contender, and I think our listeners have a much clearer picture of what each program brings to the table.
They do.
But before we move on, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
What surprised you the most during this initial exploration of these three software options?
Honestly, it's the sheer scope of what ePlan Electric offers.
Yeah.
It's not just a design tool, it's a complete ecosystem for electrical engineering.
It's impressive.
From its massive component library to its advanced automation capabilities and its embrace of cloud technology, ePlan is truly in a league of its own.
I agree. It's impressive how they've managed to pack so much power and flexibility into one software package.
Yeah, it's really remarkable.
But as we've discussed, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Of course not.
See, Electrical Expert and Zuken E3 definitely have their own merits and might be a better fit for certain users and projects.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this so interesting.
Right.
There's no clear-cut winner here.
Not at all.
It all comes down to your individual needs and priorities.
Exactly.
I think that's a perfect place to pause for. Now join us in the next part, where we'll delve a little deeper into these three contenders and uncover even more insights to help you make the right choice.
I'll be here.
Great. See you then.
Welcome back to the deep dive. I'm excited to pick up where we left off and really dig into some of the nuances of these electrical design software options.
Me too. We've already uncovered so much, but I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface.
I think so too.
One thing that really stood out to me was the emphasis on user experience,
Okay.
particularly with EPLAN Electric.
Yeah.
It's clear they've put a lot of thought into making the interface as intuitive and customizable as possible.
And it makes sense when you consider the complexity of the projects that ePlan is designed to handle.
Right.
Those customizable layouts and shortcuts we discuss, they're not just bells and whistles. They can save serious time in the long run.
It's almost like ePlan is saying, hey, we know you're dealing with some seriously intricate designs, we've got your back. But for someone just starting out, wouldn't all that customization be overwhelming?
That's a fair point. ePlan's power and flexibility come with a bit of a learning curve.
Right.
It's like learning to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Incredibly powerful once you master it, but you don't want to jump in without proper training.
Okay, so maybe start with a flight simulator before attempting a transatlantic journey.
Exactly. Now, another area where ePlan shines is component libraries.
Okay.
We touched on this before, but it's worth emphasizing just how crucial a well-stocked and organized component library is to the design process.
It's the foundation of your entire design. If you don't have access to the right components or the data is inconsistent, it can lead to major headaches down the line.
Absolutely. And as we saw, ePlan's library is like a treasure trove of components, hundreds of thousands of them, all sourced directly from manufacturers.
Wow.
It's like having a direct pipeline to the latest and greatest components on the market.
And it's constantly being updated, right?
Exactly. So you're not stuck with outdated information. See, Electrical Expert has a decent library too,
Yeah.
but it's not as comprehensive or as regularly updated.
So you might end up doing a bit more digging for those hard-to-find components.
You might.
And then we have Zuken E3, which, as we discussed, excels in specific areas, particularly mechanical components.
Right, more of a specialist.
It's the specialist coming in with the niche expertise. Okay, so we've got the massive, ever-evolving library in ePlan, the solid but potentially requiring a bit more manual effort library in C Electrical Expert, and the specialized collection in Zuken E3. Now let's talk about something that gets me really excited.
Automation.
Automation.
I was hoping you'd bring that up.
It's like the secret weapon of efficient design.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started out, I would spend hours doing things manually that I could now automate in minutes.
It really is remarkable how much time and effort you can save with automation.
It's mind-blowing.
And ePlan, as we've seen, is a true automation powerhouse. If you're comfortable with scripting, you can literally teach it to do almost anything.
It's incredible.
It's like having a team of digital assistants working tirelessly behind the scenes to handle those repetitive tasks.
But what about those of us who aren't coding ninjas? Is automation in ePlan a pipe dream?
Not at all. Even if you've never written a line of code in your life,
Okay, good.
you can still benefit from ePlan's built-in automation features. And let's be honest, even basic automation can make a world of difference in your workflow.
Okay, so there's hope for the scripting challenged among us. Now, what about C Electrical Expert and Zuken E3? Do they offer any automation capabilities?
See, Electrical Expert does have some basic scripting functionality,
Okay.
but it's not as robust or flexible as ePlan's.
Yeah.
You can automate some simpler tasks, but don't expect to be building complex multi-step workflows.
Right, so more basic stuff.
Yes.
And Zuken E3.
From what you've gathered, it seems like automation isn't really a key focus in Zuken E3.
Okay, so if you're a fan of hands-on design and prefer to keep things manual, Zuken E3 might be right up your alley.
It could be.
All right, we've talked a lot about the features and functionalities of each program, but let's face it, at the end of the day, the bottom line matters. Let's talk cost and scalability.
Yes. It's all about finding that sweet spot, a solution that fits your current budget, but can also grow with your needs in the future.
So where did these three contenders stand on the price spectrum? Give us the lowdown.
Well, ePlan Electric is definitely the premium option of the bunch.
Okay.
You're getting a comprehensive package, advanced features, massive component library, robust automation, and the ability to scale as your business grows. But that comes with a price tag.
Okay, so it's the Rolls-Royce of electrical design software, top of the line, luxurious and powerful. But what if you're more of a get from point A to point B kind of designer?
That's where a C Electrical Expert might be a better fit.
Okay.
It's significantly more budget-friendly, especially for smaller businesses or those who don't need all the bells and whistles that ePlan offers.
It's like the reliable sedan, affordable, efficient, and gets the job done. And what about Zuken E3? Is it the budget champion?
Zuken E3 is definitely the most affordable option of the three, making it attractive for those who are cost conscious. But as we've seen, it does have limitations in terms of features and scalability.
So it might not be the best long-term solution if you anticipate your needs growing.
That's right.
Now, you mentioned earlier that ePlan is built to scale. Can you unpack that a bit more? What makes it so adaptable to different business needs?
ePlan's modular structure is really ingenious. You can start with a basic package that covers your core needs and then add on modules as your business expands.
Okay.
It's like building a custom software solution piece by piece without having to invest in a massive all-encompassing package right from the start.
So as your projects get more complex, you just add more Legos to your ePlan castle.
Exactly. Need PLC programming capabilities, add the PLC module, wire harness design, there's a module for that fluid power. ePlan has you covered. It's incredibly flexible.
I can see how that would be appealing to businesses that are growing rapidly and need a software solution that can keep pace.
Okay, we've talked a lot about features, functionality, and even cost. But there's one more aspect of these programs that I want to explore, the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Cloud-based solutions. I was wondering when we'd get to that. It's a game changer in the world of design software.
It's not just a trend, it's the future.
Hmm.
So how are these three contenders, ePlan Electric, Electrical Expert, and Zuken E3, embracing the cloud? Fill us in.
ePlan has really gone all in with the cloud launching its ePlan Eples platform.
I love that name.
It's a good one.
Color me intrigued. And then some. Give us the juicy details.
ePlan Eples is more than just cloud storage. It's a whole ecosystem built around collaboration, data management, and access to resources.
Yeah, okay.
Imagine being able to collaborate with your team on a design in real time, no matter where you are in the world.
Right.
Or having all your design data securely stored and backed up in the cloud so you never have to worry about losing your work. It sounds like a dream come true for anyone who's ever struggled with version control or lost hours of work due to a computer crash.
It happens to the best of us.
It does.
And ePlan Impulses doesn't stop there. It also provides access to a wealth of online resources, including tutorials, webinars, and a community forum where users can connect and share knowledge. It's like having a virtual support system for your ePlan journey.
Wow, so ePlan is setting the bar pretty high in terms of cloud integration. Are C Electrical Expert and Zuken E3 keeping pace?
They're starting to dip their toes into the cloud, offering some basic cloud-based services, but they haven't fully embraced the cloud to the same extent that ePlan has.
So they're recognizing the importance of the cloud. But ePlan is clearly the frontrunner in this race. As we're talking about these cloud-based solutions, it strikes me that the evolution of electrical design software really mirrors the evolution of technology as a whole. We've gone from clunky desktop programs to sleek cloud-based platforms that offer incredible power and flexibility.
It's a fascinating parallel, and it makes you wonder what the next big leap will be. Artificial intelligence, virtual reality. The possibilities seem endless.
That's what makes this field so exciting. It's constantly evolving and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
I like where this is going.
If you could wave a magic wand and instantly add one feature to any of these software programs, what would it be and why?
That's a tough one. But I think I'd have to go with a truly intuitive voice control interface for ePlan Electric. Imagine being able to design a complex electrical system using only your voice.
That's an amazing idea. Talk about hands-free design.
It would be a game changer. But for now, I guess we'll have to settle for keyboard shortcuts.
Okay, maybe someday we'll be reminiscing about the good old days of clicking and dragging. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break and come back with our final thoughts and some key takeaways to help you navigate the world of electrical design software. Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've explored ePlan Electric, C Electrical Expert, and Zuken E3, comparing them across a whole bunch of different features, and now it's time to bring it all together.
Exactly. We've looked at everything from interface and usability to cloud integration and cost, and I think by now our listeners have a really good understanding of what each program brings to the table.
Absolutely. But before we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
Of course.
We've thrown a lot of information your way, but at the end of the day, the most important question is which software is right for me?
Right, because there's no one-size-fits-all answer here.
Exactly. It all comes down to your individual needs,
Priorities.
the type of projects that you're working on.
It's kind of like choosing the right pair of shoes.
Yeah.
What works for a marathon runner won't work for a sprinter.
So let's break it down, highlight some key takeaways to help you make the best decision for your specific situation.
Sounds good.
If you're a seasoned electrical designer who thrives on power customization and efficiency, and you're working on complex, large-scale projects.
EPLAN Electric is hard to beat.
It really does seem like the industry gold standard.
And for good reason.
It's got the comprehensive feature,
The massive component library,
advanced automation.
and the scalability to handle just about anything you throw at it.
It's like the ultimate design toolbox, fully loaded and ready to tackle any challenge. But as we've discussed, that power and flexibility come with a price tag.
Hmm.
So what if you're just starting out working on smaller projects or have a more limited budget?
Then C Electrical Expert might be the perfect fit.
Okay.
It's more user-friendly, more affordable, and still offers a really solid set of features to get the job done.
It's like that trusty pickup truck gets you where you need to go without all the fancy extras. And we have Zuken E3, which, as we've seen, is a bit more of a specialist,
Right, it excels in certain niches.
particularly wire harness design and panel layouts.
Exactly. If those are your bread and butter, then Zuken E3 might be a great choice. Affordable.
And gets the job done.
It's like that precision screwdriver, perfect for those specific tasks. So we've got the powerhouse, the workhorse, and the specialist. But even within those categories, there are nuances to consider.
Absolutely.
Think about your comfort level with technology.
Right. Are you a tech-savvy designer who loves to tinker and customize?
Or do you prefer a more straightforward, intuitive interface?
Exactly. Think about your workflow.
Do you need advanced automation features to streamline your process?
Or are you more comfortable with a hands-on manual approach? Think about your budget and your long-term goals.
Are you looking for a software solution that can grow with your business? Or do you need a more affordable option for the time being?
These are all important questions to ask yourself as you evaluate these three contenders.
And remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
Nope.
The best choice is the one that aligns with your individual needs and priorities. And don't be afraid to do your own research. Try out demos and see which program feels right for you.
The world of electrical design software is constantly evolving, so stay curious, stay informed, and choose the tool that empowers you to create amazing things.
Well said.
And with that, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of electrical design software. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, happy designing.